everyone, I'm Katrina and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I want to reread. I don't reread books as often as I would like, and this is mostly because I have a pretty large to-read pile. I've got a lot of books that I own that I have not yet read, so I typically lean towards reading those books rather than going back and reading some old favourites or ones that I want to refresh my memory on, because it kind of feels like I'm wasting time and just not actively moving through my TBR pile, which is ridiculous because it's not wasting time. I may be rereading a story I've already read before, but a lot of the time I find that I take something new from the book and it is the best feeling diving back into a favourite story. I love doing it, but I just don't prioritise it enough. I'm going to be starting a new video series on my channel where I document and vlog my rereading experience for old favourite books. And I'm really interested to do this because there's going to be some favourites that I know, I hope, that I will still love just as much as I did the first time reading it. There are going to be some books that I think my opinions might have changed over time, so it'll be a really interesting experience going back and rereading those books and seeing if my thoughts have changed, why they have changed. I'm actually thinking of kickstarting this series with Twilight because it's been 10 years since I read Twilight. I have quite a few books that I would love to do for this series, and if there's anything that you would like to see in particular, any specific books you'd like to see me reread and talk about in depth, then definitely let me know down below. In this video I'm actually going to be highlighting some favourites that I would love to revisit hopefully sometime soon. So let's get on with the video. Vicious by Ve Schwab. I fell in love with this story. I love morally grey characters and this one is filled with morally grey characters, and I've been meaning to reread this one for a little while, but I've been saving it for this year because we have the sequel, Vengeful, coming out later in the year, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to wait a little bit, maybe a month or two before Vengeful is supposed to come out, and I'll reread Vicious and reignite my love for the book and just get even more excited about Vengeful. So that's what I'm really looking forward to getting to. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Muse of Nightmares has been officially announced to be released later on in the year, which I'm so excited about. And I was actually planning on rereading Strange the Dreamer earlier on in the year. I was participating in a Sassy book club. I only got about 50 pages in. I wasn't able to finish reading the book in time, so I still haven't finished my reread for Strange the Dreamer. So many other books have popped up that I've kind of needed to prioritize. So I would like to just revisit that book and give it the time it deserves. The Red Rising Saga. Now I'm not planning to reread the first 3 books in order to continue on with Iron Gold. I only read Morningstar a couple of months ago, so it's fresh enough in my mind that I feel comfortable diving into the next book, especially since Iron Gold is set 10 years after the events of Morningstar. So I'm not wanting to reread it so I can continue on with the series. I would like to reread it because I would like to listen to the audiobooks. I think that's going to be a really fun way to experience the story, and I just had so much fun reading Red Rising. As soon as I finished it, I had the urge to reread it. But like I said, I don't prioritize rereading because there's so many other things that I feel like I need to read first. But I'm gonna get to the audiobook. I'm really excited for that. The Book Thief by Markus Zusa. This is one of my favourite books of all time, and I've reread it a couple of times. I've read the physical book twice and I've also listened to the audiobook. It's been a long time since I've read it. I think the last time was probably 2013, maybe 2014. I read the physical book at least twice and I've listened to the audiobook as well, but it's just been so long since I read the story. I really do miss it and I've been thinking about it a lot lately, so I do think it's about time for me to pick up the book again. I would also love to reread The Host by Stephenie Meyer. I'm not sure how many times I've reread it, it's been a few, but out of all of the books that I have reread, I'm quite certain The Host comes in at number 1, being the most frequently read. And again, it's been a long time since I have picked up the book. It is a book that I absolutely love. I miss it. I miss the story, I miss the characters, so I want to dive back in and see if I love it just as much as I did way back when. The last book I'm going to be talking about is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. It's been, I can't remember, 2.5 years? That sounds about right, that I read Queen of Shadows. And I couldn't tell you what events happen in Queen of Shadows. Oh, I can remember kind of the very end of the book. As for the rest of the book, I just poof, poof, poof. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. It's been a while since I've read Queen of Shadows, and I don't feel comfortable jumping into Empire of Storms when I remember so little of the book. Even though I vaguely remember the end, it's more like scattered still images from a movie that I can picture in my mind. So it's these instances. So ideally, I would like to have reread Queen of Shadows and then read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn before that last book publishes. So that wraps up my list of books I would like to reread, hopefully sometime soon. I would also love to know down below what books you would like to reread for one reason or another. Let me know. Until my next video, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye!